Welcome everybody watching, welcome everybody here to the first ever podcast between Rooster Teeth and my man Gus and my man Burnie and my brother Joe Rogan, representing the Honest staff here on a team.
Hey everyone, thanks for having us out, man. This place is awesome.
It's beautiful.
I was telling Burnie before we got started, this is my first time ever in a gym. So like, I've seen pictures of gyms on the internet.
Was it as painful as you expected?
No, this place is awesome.
Ultimately, when people have access to all these experiences, and they quickly become desensitized to them. And it's like, jump, 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 we gotta go to the next level. Like, we all remember the first time we watched a roller coaster movie, and we had that feeling in the pit of our stomach. I can watch a roller coaster movie today, I don't have that.
Right.
So, and it's like, after a while, you acclimate to that. And if you have these experiences basically on demand, you know, that you can pull up at the push of a button, what happens then? Then where do we go from there?
That's a good point, because you see that in porn, you see that in violent movies, you see that in pretty much everything. People are never satisfied with a static state. They always want everything to ramp up. I mean, violent movies, I mean, just look at Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is way more violent than any zombie movie from the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah. And it's like, it's crazy because when you go back to like the 50s and 60s, the horror back then was really like fucked up. Like the stuff they would tackle, and now then they went through the 80s, it was just gore and all that. It's just nuts.
Which brings me to the dystopian vision for me. And the dystopian vision is, let's say the Oculus Rift is no longer Nintendo 64 graphics. Let's say it's actual video quality graphics, where you could see the anguish on someone's face if you hurt them. And then you have a gun, you have a shooting system, you have sensors, you have everything, and you're on one of those treadmills and you're running, and you are literally going to war and lighting people up, and it's a full immersive experience. Is that healthy for a human being to go that far?
I think the real question is, are we going to remain human beings? Because I think the answer is no. I think we're going to be some sort of a symbiote. We're going to connect to computers in a way where we're not individuals anymore. We're going to be a part of something electronic. And when that happens, yeah, that kind of shit's not good. It's not good for this animal. But for the thing that comes next after us, you know, maybe it'll work. And that might be what's going on with people right now with this incredible escalating technology.
Facebook just bought a messaging company called WhatsApp. Bought them for $18 billion. United Airlines sold for $4.5 billion.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, that's an airline that has planes and people and infrastructure, and an app sold for $18 billion.
That makes me want to invent some stupid shit and try to sell it to Facebook. I want to invent something just to sell it to Facebook.
You hear about Google, you talk about information. Google bought a thermostat company called Nest. Bought them for $3.2 billion. And it's basically, what does Google do in there? They're just saying, this is a piece of information that we didn't think to get. We never thought to figure out how to calculate how people are using energy in their homes. But if you're delivering information and you're a multi-hundred billion dollar company, what's the most important thing you need to deliver that information? You need to know how people are using the energy. That's an important part. So $3.2 billion, bam, Google just lay it out there.
Wow. That's a perfect example of money's the value just changing and distorting in a weird, sort of an indecipherable way.
So we talked, quite a bit about Oculus and like virtual reality stuff. How do you feel about like Google Glass or like augmented reality stuff, where you're like walking around and your phone, your repository, instead of being in your pocket, is right in front of you virtually?
I don't like Google Glass as it stands. I've tried it and I felt like it was goofy. I don't need to see this in front of me. I don't want to have a floating image. If I'm looking at navigation, I want to be able to look at my phone and then put it away. But I think it's inevitable that it moves to something next level. Sort of like we're talking about virtual reality, wasn't ready for its time. I think that's the same thing with Google Glass. I think what you're getting right now is just one step where they're going to eventually figure out some sort of a neural implant where you're going to see images in the world. You're going to be able to pull them up, put them away. You're going to be able to see things in front of you. You're not going to need a glass, a little framed glass.
That's what I want. I want to walk down the street and see Yelp reviews of restaurants and be like, who has the best brunch right now? Oh, great, I'm going over there, Like,
well, even better, you're going to see Yelp reviews of people. You're gonna see people walk down the street, and if they have 1 star, they're gonna be like, oh, douchebag, and you just walk to the other side of the street.
Or it's like, would you like to see nudes of this person? Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was not
Would you like to
expecting
watch this person have sex? Yes.
You know what? One of the saddest stereotypes of all time is that Mexican people got labeled as lazy. They are the hardest working, most polite people in the entire world. They do jobs that I would fucking fall over dead if I attempted to do. The one exception is him. He's the laziest fucking person on the planet. You live in stereotype.
It's not laziness, it's efficiency.
No, you are the Speedy Gonzalez of the internet, essentially. That's where you live. You occupy that space. We were talking about this chick. She was up on this hoop over here. This, she's like an aerial dancer?
Aerialist.
Yeah. Lyra. Yeah.
What's that?
It's called Lyra.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I call it hot as hell. Anyway, I would love to see you, after this, climb that rope and get on that fucking hoop. I would love to see it. Oh, we got a woo in the back. You got to do it now.
I'm going with efficiency over lazy. This is why. You're here. You did something right.
Yeah.
So
I got out of bed, I put this coat on, and I'm sitting here.
And you got to the position somehow in life where you're at a microphone talking, and a lot of people are listening. So I would go with efficiency. Don't let him fuck with you, man.
Yeah, Joe, you're just enabling him. That's all you're doing.
I'm all about enabling people.
You're an enabler.
It's scary, I think about that a lot. It's like, what trajectory did my life go on that I'm the asshole sitting under the lights with a microphone, and people come and like download our podcast and listen to it? It's like, what a weird, strange journey it is to get to that point.
It's even stranger that we're in a room full of people that can't even understand a fucking word we're saying. That's even stranger. We did a live broadcast and nobody can understand what we're saying because it echoes. That's even stranger.
You think that's important? You think we should have chosen a venue other than a hard-walled gym with high ceilings?
Yeah, I would say probably that's not a good move.
Rooster Teeth News has done insanely well since we started it at PAX 6 months ago. We'd hoped it would do well, but it's eclipsed our most optimistic goals. Across 140 updates, we've done more than 26 million views. For Rooster Teeth, it may not be a crazy number, but for a video game news show, it has instantly rocketed us to one of the biggest news shows on the internet. But there's a lot going on in other entertainment that we think is awesome and we want to cover. Game of Thrones is coming back, Marvel's got all this craziness with Guardians of the Galaxy, comics are being adapted for TV at a dizzying rate, Star Wars is doing its thing, flexible phones are about to step out of sci-fi and into reality. We've put enough of a load on the Rooster Teeth channel with all the daily news updates without adding all of this as well. So we're launching a brand new channel at youtube.com/know. Rooster Teeth News will become The Know. We've got a name. We're expanding into the world of entertainment news. No chick flicks though. Probably. Tech, and maybe even some of the coolest science stuff. And because we have the whole house to ourselves, we're also moving away from the daily format to make the news even better. One of the frustrations with doing a single update is that the world doesn't revolve around our news schedule. A lot of times big things will happen late at night after we've recorded for the day, and that means we won't be able to tell you about it for almost 24 hours. On the new channel, we'll post news updates as they happen throughout the day, and that means that you can catch up on the stories that interest you, and you don't have to sit through all the others just to get to the good stuff. We'll also have a site for those of you who aren't always on YouTube at theknow.tv.